nobody showed up for the public hearing for the tax rate for fiscal year 2025-2026. So I hereby close that meeting. And it is now time for closure of the meeting was 6:30. And now I will also open our special meeting. Time is also 6:30. Agenda item number 2, consider and act upon a resolution for the City of Devine Airport as a special revenue fund. Just to give you an idea of what this is all about, essentially what we're doing is sometimes in city budgets, things can get lost in the mix and you may not know exactly how much certain things cost you. For example, big portions can go into your debt service, can go into interest and such, whereas the operating money makes things appear better than they really are. And I felt like it was very important for our budget to show just exactly how much that airport costs us. Because 3 or 4 years ago, or whenever it was, I guess a little bit longer, the city entered into a long-term note to buy several hangars out there at the airport. I'm not getting into the reasons for it right now, but I just feel like it's important that we show exactly what that costs the city. Did everybody get their copy of the resolution? Okay. Do we have any questions? Oh, we do? Okay. Go ahead, John.
I'll make a motion. We act upon the resolution and approve it for the City of Devine to create an airport fund or a airport special revenue fund.
Okay, we have a motion from Josh to adopt a resolution for the City of Devine Airport as a special revenue fund.
And I'll second the motion.
And we have a second from Jeff. Further discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Tom, do I need to read the resolution?
I do have to.
Okay. Moving on, since we don't have to, because nobody here it anyway. Okay. All right, agenda item number 3, consider and act upon approving the budget for fiscal year 2025-2026. David, do you have anything to say with regards to this?
Mayor and Council, we've had, as you are aware, numerous budget workshops, budget hearings for this process. And given the community the opportunity to come and give input on this particular budget, I want to thank Christine and Sophia and Michelle and myself spent a lot of time on this budget trying to make sure that we kind of address the needs of the city as well as the needs of the staff and so forth. So this is the budget that we present to y'all this evening for consideration for approval.
Okay. Also to add to what David had to say, just to let you know, the tax rate, well, the budget includes $61,695 more from tax revenue, okay, or 4.06 increase, not 500,000 and so forth. Some of those, the final budget numbers may show it 500,000 more than the previous, but that's because of grants and things that the city has received. So when you receive money from grants and so forth and so on from capital outlay, you got to put it on the revenue side, and then you have an additional entry for the expense side. So right. So anyway, I was just giving you a general feeling of that in case there's any questions. But the tax money increase will be $61,695. Anything further, guys?
But that only increased property taxes by about 11,641, correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. So the rest is from sales tax.
Well, no, the property tax is 1,695. The new tax for new property was 11,000.
New property.
This is a property tax, not sales tax.
11,000 is part of the 61, but the 11,000 accounts for actually new property brought into the tax rolls. And the other part of that is money that's just because of change in value. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
I don't know, almost double. We're initially looking at a $34,000 increase in revenue.
The number was misquoted. It was supposed to be originally 61,695. The original number, that's how we had to run everything in the paper.
Oh, okay.
So that's the original number. The first number that was given out was not the correct number.
Okay.
So the 61,695 is the correct number, 4.6%. 11,641 of that is for tax revenue for new properties.
Okay.
That's according to the Medina County Tax Appraisal Office.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
All right, then I'll make a motion considering the act of approving pursuant to section 102.007A of the Texas Local Government Code. I move that we adopt for the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget that has been discussed at our numerous budget workshops and at the public hearings on the budget. Take a roll call. Yea or nay? Okay.
Okay, we have a motion from Michael. Pursuant to section 102.007 of the Texas Local Government Code, that we adopt the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget that has been discussed at our numerous budget workshops and at the public hearing on this budget. Gentlemen, we need a roll call in this. All in favor? Al?
Yes.
Okay, Al is yes.
No.
Josh is no.
Yes.
Jeff is yes.
Yes.
Michael, yes. Ray?
Yes.
Ray is yes. Budget passes 4-1 with Josh dissenting. Okay. There's a second part to that.
Second part, yes. I'll make a motion considering approving the pursuant to section 102.007C of the Texas Local Government Code. I move that we ratify the tax rate to increase to be reflected in the fiscal year of 2025-2026 budget.
All right, we have a motion from Michael pursuant to section 102.007 of the Texas Local Government Code to ratify the tax rate increase that is reflected in the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. We need a roll call on this also. I'll start to my left. Hal?
Yes.
All right, Hal votes yes.
Yes.
Josh votes yes.
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 Michael, yes.
Yes.
Ray, yes. Motion passes 5-0. I don't think there's a second motion on that, is there? Okay. All right, everybody, our budget for fiscal 2025-26 is approved. Moving on to agenda item number 4. Consider and act upon approving the proposed tax rate for the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. David, do you wish to begin?
Tax rate, yes, we had, this is the tax rate hearing we had, that we prepared for fiscal year 25-26. We have one here in the audience. We have had other hearings regarding the tax rate and solicited input from the community. And we're here at this time to pass the tax rate for fiscal year 25-26.
All right, council, any further discussion after all our meetings we've had? I'll entertain a motion at this time.
I make a motion to consider a pursuant of the Texas Property Tax Code 26-05 I move that the city of Devine adopts the tax rate for the fiscal year of 2025-2026 that consists of the components of -103,600% that will be used to pay the debt service of the city of Devine.
All right, we have a motion from Michael. Pursuant to Texas Property Code Section 26.05, that the city of Devine adopts a tax rate for fiscal year 2025-26 that consists of a component of 0.103,600% that will be used to pay debt service of the city of Devine. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Hal is yes.
Yes.
Josh is yes.
Yes.
Jeff is yes.
Yes.
Michael, yes.
Yes.
And Ray, yes. That motion passes 5-0. Okay, we also have other sections that need to be passed. Now would be the actual tax rate. The first motion showed the percentage has to be used for the INS portion of the budget. So now we need a motion with regards to the operating budget.
Okay, I make a motion that we, pursuant of the Texas Property Tax Code 26.05A, I move that the city of Devine adopts a tax rate for the fiscal year 2025-2026 that consists of components of 0.486400% that will be used to fund the maintenance and operation expenditures of the city of Devine for the fiscal year 2025-2026.
All right, we have a motion from Michael. Pursuant to Texas Property Tax Code Section 26.05, that the city of Devine adopts a tax rate for fiscal year 2025-2026 that consists of a component of 0.4864% that will be used to fund maintenance operation expenditures for the city of Devine for the fiscal year 2025-2026. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Hal is yes. Oh, my bad.
Yes.
Josh is yes.
Yes.
Jeff is yes.
Yes.
Michael, yes.
Yes.
And Ray is yes. Motion passes 5-0. Now we need a motion for the combined, I believe, of the total tax rate.
I make a motion that pursuant to the Texas Property Tax Code Section 26.05B, I move that the property tax rate may be increased by the adoption of the tax rate of 0.590000%, which is effectively a 4.06% increase in the tax rate.
Okay, we have a motion from Michael pursuant to Texas Property Tax Code Section 26.05B, that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.59%, which is effectively 4.06% increase in the tax rate. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Hal is yes.
Yes.
Josh is yes.
Yes.
Jeff is yes.
Yes.
Michael, yes.
Yes.
Ray, yes. Motion passes 5-0. We have a new tax rate.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to make the statement that the last two agenda items on the budget and the tax rate, all of that information that the council just voted on, will be put into the form of ordinance, two ordinances, and those ordinances will be presented to you tomorrow for your signature.
Okay. All right, we'll be ready. Thanks, David. All right, everybody, moving on, we have agenda item number 5. Consider and act upon approving the Go Medina Economic Development Foundation annual membership fee. In our previous meeting, or one of our previous meetings, we voted to take advantage of what they call their silver package or something to that effect. That was considerably less expensive, but I was advised by Stephanie over there at Go Medina that cities must pay the full rate, which is $1 per citizen of the population.
I would like to thank Stephanie for participation and support, but at this time, they do not quite have the ability to provide the $4,000 of value to the city of Devine.
Did everyone get the letter from her? It shows she feels like the advantages are. She also mentioned that she could come and speak sometime if you wish, if the council desires. So, okay. Anyone else?
Just like to say, I think, due to the fact that we don't have an economic development person at the moment, and we are actively pursuing businesses to come to the city of Devine, and they do put us on their profile. But I passed out a list of the benefits of being part of Go Medina. It's not just Go Medina, you're also part of the economic development portion of South San Antonio. Any job opportunities, any development opportunities that come open, they send out the opportunity to apply to RFQs for that particular developer to come and take a look at our city. So we have submitted a couple jobs opportunities, a couple development opportunities through them, as well as had hosted meetings here and had other city managers to come here as well for their meeting. So I believe, I know we have somebody looking at the property right now, but I think it would be a good opportunity for us to invest one more year to ensure we have our name out there and actively being looked at by other developers in the event that something don't go through with our current situation.
And I also stand by my previous position. At this time, I feel like we should stick it out another year. I can attest that Stephanie and Go Medina, it's not for lack of effort. I feel like they treat us just the same as everyone else as far, it just seems like everybody else gets things of that nature. Right now we have 75 acres that we're actively promoting, and I think we have someone interested in it, but once again, until everything's signed on the dotted line, we need to still pursue further avenues for that. That's just my position.
I think you captured it really well in the previous meeting when you said we just don't have the same things to offer that the other cities have. So it's certainly no negative on Go Medina, they do great work,
Right.
but we just don't have what they need to showcase properly and really capitalize on.
We're a little farther away from the larger scale development that's going on. So it may not be a good time to get lost in the weeds either, because we already have that, that, like I say, there's a good, 15, 20 mile barrier between us and the development that's spreading into Medina County. So I don't think it's the time to, I agree, we don't have an economic development foundation ourselves yet, which I hope we will. I hope we will be doing that in the near future. But in the meantime, I don't think we need to stop whatever we can do to get the word out about us.
I was against it the last meeting, reconsidering it, doing it all over again, give it one more year, because we do need some help. So I'll give it one more year. I mean, I'll make a motion that, we go to the gold plan and, and invest into them one more time.
I'll second the motion.
Question first. We need to rescind the previous motion since it's not valid.
It wasn't even possible.
It was approved, at last meeting, what was your,
It was like $750 for their solar plan.
I think you can go ahead and increase that, that's what Mike's motion is, right, to increase it to the full amount?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. All right, I have a motion from Jeff, for Michael to re-up with Go Medina as a gold level investor.
Which is in the amount of $4,324. Once again, it did come out on the telecast. We have a motion from Michael to re-up as a gold level investor in the Go Medina Foundation in the amount of $4,324. And we have a second from Jeff. Anything further, fellas? Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 3-2. Josh and Ray vote no. Okay. Informational items. Dave, would you like to discuss all the water breaks by chance?
Sure.
Just to kind of fill everyone in. We had a fun, I know Pete and his crew had a real fun week actually, and as always, we really appreciate what they did. It was some phenomenal work. I know one of the leaks, or at least one of them, was 10 feet down in the ground. Please proceed, Pete.
So what happened was the contractor working at the Warhorse Tower, he was ready to do a tie-in, which he ended up closing 2 valves. They run our transmission line. And when the well kicked on, it built up pressure and it blew the line. And that was the first night. We didn't know nothing about it, that those valves were closed, fixed the leak, turned the well back on, and popped again. And so we noticed, okay, something's going on. We called the contractor and went and checked the valves, and the valves were closed. So we knew right there that, okay, that's what's happening when the well kicks on. It blew the lines. So we turned the valves back on, and everything's been working fine. But we had another leak because it already built up pressure and broke another weak point in the 12-inch line. So yeah, so everything's running good now. I know from Ingram, or from Colonial North, has been having trouble, but that's because of the bypass we did. Once we fill the ground storage tank and run the pumps the way they should be running, that won't happen again.
So, and the contractor understands about,
Yes, sir.
because
We
I
had a
figured
problem with
it had to be because of built-up pressure. It's the only thing that, I know the pipes are old, but
Yeah.
still, there had to be too much pressure on the lines.
Oh yeah, that's about 1,900 gallons per minute going through that
Yeah.
line. So, yeah,
What size pipe was it?
12-inch.
Yeah. You get a lot of kickback.
Oh, yeah.
Those valves are.
Yeah, the water had nowhere to go
You
at
know,
that time.
it's,
So.
it's nothing like the oil industry, you know?
Yeah.
You're using steel pipes. I mean, poly pipe, you can get leaks on them too. That water is hot when it goes through there, so is that oil.
And one of the areas that broke it's by the creek. So it's, at the creek, it's about 30 foot deep.
Oh.
So luckily it popped, about 9 foot deep.
Yeah.
So,
And I think that whenever we have situations like this, we need to describe a little bit more in detail what's going on to the citizens of Devine.
Right.
I applaud y'all, man, all of y'all for doing what y'all need to do, because I know all of y'all had plans that day.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Probably birthday parties or get-togethers. And I want to apologize to you and your crew for the citizens of Devine that were very negative on y'all. I
Oh, we
mean,
appreciate
it was bad. And I deactivated my Facebook a while back, and I started getting phone calls of these people. So I went ahead and just opened it up. And it's amazing that the way they talked about the city of Devine, and these guys are professionals. They own businesses. You got hay farmers, you got realtors, you got bartenders, you got beauticians. I mean, these are professionals. They own their own business. This is a business too. So like I said, I apologize. I mean, it's very sad that we have people like that's here. These are probably the same people before Christ that would say that Jesus is hanging on that cross right now. Go ahead and put a nail in him a little bit tighter because I heard it rise in 3 days. These are the same people that go to church on Sunday and sin on Monday. And it upsets me, but I can't do nothing about it.
Right.
But I'm hoping the TV, the recording, and everything else will help us out. I mean, if somebody hears about Devine and they want to investigate in Devine and see what's going on, and they open the citizens of Devine or anything that's negative, why would they want to move here? I mean,
Well, I think some of this too this is still a little bit back to, things were let go for so long. And we're still paying a price for this.
Yes.
Just like we had to increase the water rates, and people are frustrated. I mean, I genuinely think there's a genuine frustration. And when they start losing service at their house, that frustration boils over. A lot of the reason is that they don't totally understand.
no.
And I wish that there was a better way to convey to them that, for several decades, these things were let go. And now that you've started working on it to make the improvements, there's a little bit of, you're going to have a little bit of disruption. And that's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, it's going to be good for us and for the next generation. If we'd have just let that go, it would have been far more disastrous. Being down to one well, not having these, renovations that we're doing. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. But there's still so much more to do. So I feel like some of that is just a lack of really understanding the problem and how bad it got. And, you know, I'm like him. I think it's terrible that you guys have to take that when you're actually putting in the sweat for it. But you just gotta know that people are always gonna look for a reason to be negative. And I think people are just mad anymore about anything almost. Short fused.
Right.
But,
I will say this, Mike, I applaud you for that. I think it was
Yeah.
outstandingly spoken, and I agree with you 1,000%. Well said, Jeff. The good thing though, guys, is when you get to a forum like Facebook and social media, a very small percentage of people can really make a lot of noise.
that's right.
Okay, and I truly feel that most of our community does not feel the same way as they do. Okay, because people are more likely to go on a forum such as that if they have something negative to say. Okay, and it's very rare that somebody will say exactly what you just said, which a lot of people, I'm sure they feel the same way. You know, albeit we may not have the most beautiful community as far as looking around and what have you, we got darn good people here. Okay, and I guarantee you, if you were to take a vote about things and what have you, they wouldn't agree with some of those naysayers on Facebook. I guarantee you. Agree. Josh? Okay, David, I have something to say too.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say, you did mention about us being more informative and such, and it was delayed, okay, as far as information presented, because number one, it appeared that everything was related, obviously, but until you know that for sure, you can't come out and say so, especially when other companies are involved in all those dynamics. So Pete, on the four breaks, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, great. We also have a statement from the engineer and the contractor, but they pretty much came from the same source, correct? Right. But they all didn't break at the same time.
No.
And I think a lot of people didn't understand that either. They're, oh my gosh, here's another one. Oh my gosh, here's another one.
Right.
Okay. Just like Jeff said, they were frustrated, and I would be too. I wasn't out with water at my house. Okay.
Yeah, that kind of
Oh my
pressure.
goodness. So, but anyway, that being said, Josh, you want to say something, and then after we have a statement from the contractor and the engineer.
I'll hold my question until after the statements are read.
Okay. David, please proceed.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to give nothing but respect for the public works crews that was out there in the trenches literally for hours. First night was 12 to 14 hours, and second night 8 hours, and the third night was multiple amount of hours that they gave to fix these multiple leaks, multiple blowouts, and they deserve a whole lot more respect than what people realize. Here's a statement from it. So as a result of the blowouts, I called the city engineer, Sept engineer, and the contractor to a meeting today, and we met at the Warhorse Tower to find the source of the leak and the blowouts. And this is a statement that the engineer typed up after the meeting. It says, Mr. Jordan, Sept Engineering and MGB Construction and city staff met at the Warhorse ground storage tank site on September 29th at 2:30 p.m. The field construction meeting was specifically held to discuss last week's water main shutdowns, the loss of water pressure, and flow for a portion of the community. It was discussed that all valves were in appropriate locations, but one of the insert valves was not able to withstand the pressures associated with the 2 well pumps in service. Within the plans, page C2, water section, note 1 states, prior to tie-ins, shutdown of existing mains of any size must be coordinated with the City of Devine Public Works within 1 week in advance of the shutdown. The contractor must also provide a sequence of work as related to the tie-ins. This is at no additional cost to the city or the project, and it is the responsibility of the contractor to sequence the work accordingly. This notification did not occur. The city public works staff and Sept Engineering were not aware of the upcoming shutdown until after it had already occurred. All parties together today have concluded that the line sections that failed were asbestos cement mains. The result of to the situation would have been to turn off the wells simultaneously with the valve closures. This would reduce the pressure in the field line piping and potentially eliminate line failures. It was stated by the engineer in today's meeting that no further shutoffs shall occur without contacting the city and engineer in accordance with the plans and specifications with given timelines. Sincerely, Success Engineering. So that was a lack of communication and the reason why the pipes were blown out.
Okay. With all that being said, it sounds like the contract would be fiscally responsible for this.
Right, so at this time, I have Pete collecting all the hours that was worked, all the equipment that was used, all the supplies that was used for this particular multiple, 3 water main breaks. And we will be submitting an invoice for reimbursement for that cost.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a suggestion. In the oil industry, whenever we're working on pipeline or anything like that, whenever we have to close a valve or anything else, we got something called a lockout tagout. Where the two, like Pete and the other gentleman, that go out there, that way they know what's going on. You see what I'm saying? And they cannot open that valve or close that valve without both of them being there. It's probably what needs to be done though too in that situation. That way Pete will know that that valve is closed. If anything happens like this again.
All right. That's informational items, by the way, we don't need a motion. Anything else from everybody?
Only thing I'll say about that is I'm kind of surprised that procedure wasn't set into place in the first place, considering they have experience with, municipal water systems. It would seem that that would have been protocol, but that's just me.
All right. Okay, anybody have anything else for informational items?
I got one more thing. Have we heard anything on Melissa Mann on her water deal that she had going on with a pipe that busted or something like that on our side, and she just got charged some ridiculous amount of money or something like that? She lives in Howes District. Yeah.
Water was,
I experienced weak water, but I had water running all day, even had the leaks. I stayed up with it. The administrator kept me informed, but I had water all day, but it was weak. It wasn't strong, not strong pressure.
Hers was a water break in the alleyway. Yeah, we could do more investigation on that though too.
Okay. I'll have Public Works Director Pete Sanchez go speak with Ms. Mann and see if we can sort it out.
Okay.
All right.
Hang on.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm gonna wait till that was all up to bed. Do we have ideas on the revenue we've generated from the last water rate increase and some projections of what we're gonna have to work with in this coming month?
Yes, sir, we do. Met with Samco, which is our financial advisor, Mr. McClaney, and Michelle in finance, Michelle Martin in finance, and we averaged $32,000 increase per month since February of this year. So, long story short, we were $1.1 million deficit. We've raised approximately $650,000. So, phase 2 of the water rate increase will need to be implemented, and it's expected to be implemented in October according to y'all's last instructions. That full implementation, once again, is just for us to be able to pay our debt obligation. It's not over and above the maintenance and operation for the water system.
I don't know if you folks had the opportunity to do the analysis, but are you able to look at the amount we're bringing in from water usage revenue versus the base rate? What I hope to do in this next increase is to do less subsidizing of the heavy water users with mass base rate increases and a higher increase maybe with the actual water usage and what we call water and paying for it.
Right, so I appreciate that, but that's what we did actually last implementation by the first, right, we made 8 different tiers. Last year, one tier was from 1,000 to 130,000, something to that effect. So we broke it down into tiers per size of the meter. Sir? crazy amount. So we took people that lived outside the city limits and charged them a rate and a half like it's supposed to, because they had the same rate as people inside the city limits. We also broken down to 8 different categories and gradually stepped up 50 to 75% per size on the meters on the increase and so forth and so on. So we can take another look at it, but there's only one 80-inch meter in town, and that's Walmart. So
I was talking about the different, because we created different tiers of water usage. So are we, essentially, the question I'm trying to get at here is, have our price increases dramatically reduced water consumption across the board? Or are we still seeing generally the same water usage, in which case we need to continue increasing the price per gallon at those different higher tiers, rather than doing the bulk of the increase on the base rate? Because that does disproportionately impact our lower income residents.
right, I understand. And at this time, there's no indication that there have been any changes in the uses of water. Unfortunately, the smaller sizes are the residential, which we have the most of. And so they are the ones that kind of absorb the most of the cost, even though we have considerably increased the higher, larger meter.
I don't think I'm effectively conveying the question to you. So I've got a 3/4 inch water line, but if I use 30,000 gallons of water, everything over the, I think it was 10,000, whatever our minimum rate was, we try to keep those folks relatively protected. But those higher rates, and for every 4,000 or however many gallons of water I use, you're charging more per 1,000 gallons.
Correct.
And so the core of my questions are, just using me as an example with the 3/4 inch line, those higher tiers were increasing the amount we're charging per 1,000 gallons,
Correct.
regardless of what size meter you have.
Correct. Yes.
And so have we reduced the consumption of water in those, we'll just say 3/4 inch meters? I think that's what we have the most of.
Say it again?
Has water consumption been reduced with our 3/4 inch meters?
We have no indication that water consumption has been reduced across the board in any meters, even though we've been in stage 4 and so forth and so on. There's still no indication that the water rates usage have decreased because of the allocation of monies that we still have coming in, not just because of the increase, but because of the usage.
So based on what I'm hearing then, we can increase the cost per 1,000 gallons of water for higher use, the higher, over 12,000 gallons, whatever. That way we can decrease the amount we reduce the increase of base rates so that we don't have such a significant impact on our lower income residents.
That's not what was recommended by the water rate study, and we can't project water rate usage that way because.
Well, I'm aware of what the bank wants. They just want their money back. I said, I know what the bank wants. They want their money back, for sure. We saw the responsibility to meet in the middle there of what negatively impacts our citizens the most, but still meets that responsibility.
I understand, yes, sir. But however, we can't project what the water rate usage is going to be. So if we have a flat rate on the meter sizes, and then if they use 1 to 5,000, it's discharged. If you have a swimming pool and you decide to fill it up 3 times in the summer, then it's going to be additional charge and so forth. But
the next several months, it's actually going to come down. It's going to be kind of hard to gauge. I mean, I would have thought if we were going to gauge increases like what he's talking about, we would have already seen it.
right,
Because that's when it's needed.
right.
And, we're going into this winter and spring, it's not gonna be as high a consumption, I wouldn't think. But, that's, like you say, it's, all we can go off of is history. We can't really project what's gonna happen,
So you're just trying to keep the base rate where it's at now, not increase it as much?
I'm willing to accept some base rate increase.
Right.
I want to.
Water use.
I want to charge more for water, especially if we're not seeing any change in water consumption. Just charge more money for water. It's definitely hurting my pocketbook, but I can afford it more than folks that are unable to pay their mortgage every month. And so those are the people I want to impact the least.
Yeah, that's a great point, Josh. If at all possible, we really need to keep the lower levels as affordable as possible, for sure. And then I was also wondering if we had a pretty good summer as far as rain and such, but you didn't show a decrease in water usage? Really? Wow.
Not across the board, we did not.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. Okay, all right. One other thing too, David, do we have a definitive extensive report as far as the code compliance, fire department code compliance. I believe the ESD basically took fire protection away from the local fire department, and code compliance was up in the air. Do we have any updates on that?
I do not, at this point, have any updates. I do have a meeting with Chief Cook and Chief Powers this Thursday coming up, who are the new ESD leadership that's coming in. And I'm going to speak with them regarding what their vision is for the fire department. Are they just focused, not just, but are they going to be focused on fire service? Or are they also interested in entertaining code enforcement as well, or as a part of the city function? It's a contract. So I have a meeting with them, and also going to have a meeting with the Devine Volunteer Fire Department president, and see what his vision is for the department, and then we will go from there. We do have, they do have 4 certified code enforcement personnel that's still on the fire department as we speak. And if for some reason the fire department does not want to entertain code enforcement through the city, then we might be able to approach those 4 certified personnel to see if they would be interested in being a contractor for the city to provide the same service. However, I spoke with Tom, and we, of course, this contract needs to be written up, and there would have to be insurances and so forth and so on that they would be required to carry to be able to qualify as a vendor. But short answer is, I have a meeting today or Thursday to get the initial conversation started.
Okay. I was led to believe, though, that the code compliance is not necessarily involved with the ESD, because the VFD was to retain its autonomy and could actually provide the service of code compliance without approval from the ESD board or the ESD chief cook. I'm pretty sure that's how it would be, right, Dave?
Not necessarily, because I was saying I'm on a meeting.
Something new that came up?
I have to meet with the president of the Devine Volunteer Fire Department, because the board, their board is the one that makes the decisions on whether their personnel can provide code enforcement services. So at this point,
But it's not necessarily relied upon what Chief Cook has to say about code compliance. It's what the president and the VFD board has to say about code compliance. Correct?
I still have to communicate with both of them. I don't know that answer, to be honest with you.
Okay, all right. Okay, good to know. All right. I was just repeating what I was told from the president of the ESC. So, all right. Okay, anything else?
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Okay, we have a move from Jeff to go home. And Michael seconds, all in favor? All right, guys, good meeting. Good job. Motion carries. We are gone.
No.